Hi there, this is John Barton from JB Cases. So today I received a question from a JB Case owner. He's having a little bit of trouble on how to load the 4x8 case. So in order to do that, I'm going to show you guys real quick. Let me go grab a case. I'm going to go grab an empty one so it'll be easier to show this. Not like Martha Stewart. Okay, so sorry about that. I've got an empty one here, and I'm going to show you guys what it looks like empty, so you guys can see that. So it goes 4 butts in the center in here, and 8 shafts, 4 on each side is how that goes. Let me pull this up so you guys can really kind of see it a little bit better. So I'm gonna, as you know, with our cases, the interiors come out, so you can pull them out and kind of look at them and see how they go. But this is how the interior looks right here. So you've got 4 slots right here for the butt, and in each of these sides you've got 4 slots, 1, 2, 3, and 4 right there for the shafts. So when it's pulled in, it looks like this. And then I'll put this back in. I'll show you guys how might as well show you how I put this in real quick too as well. So, oops, lost my balance. All right, so putting this in is simple. The label goes toward the back of the case. So you simply drop this in gently, and then just gently feed it in. Make sure that the zipper is not caught up. So basically, if you just drop it in, it kind of looks like this. See what I did? Just drop it in right there. Now see how it's just sitting on top of the zipper? Right there. Now what you'll do is, you'll take your fingers. Here, I'll tell you what. Let me see if I can put this. See if I can put this on a table here and show you guys a little bit easier. Okay, so I'm kind of doing this impromptu from the top, but what you're going to do is just simply take your fingernail, grab up on it a little bit. See, I'm kind of trying to get a side view here so you can see it. Just grab up a little bit and push down with the heel of your hand a little bit. So you see how it just comes up over the edge right there? And then just go gently all the way around and do that and feed it down. So what happens is then it will sit. When you're done, it will sit. I got to put this down so I can get more leverage so you guys can see this. But what happens is it will sit. Just reach in and kind of push it down. Now you'll take the butt of a cue, and with the butt of a cue you can just put it in and push it down so it attaches to the Velcro at the bottom. There's a big fat Velcro piece at the bottom to keep everything down. Okay, so when you're done, it'll look like this again. Okay, you guys see that? All right. Now, the question was, how do I load the 4x8? So a customer called me up. He said, I have joint protectors and I can't seem to get it loaded. And from what he sounded on the phone, it sounded like he was putting the cues possibly in the wrong slot. So that happens a lot, actually. People will put the cues in the wrong slots and they won't know it. So they'll actually put the butts on the sides in the smaller slots, and that'll of course push everything out the wrong way. So what we want to do is we want to put the butts in. You can put them in either way, but if you want to put them in bumper down, then most of the shafts need to go in tip down. Now a few of the shafts can be put the other direction. In this case right here, I've got everything loaded. I've got everything loaded in this case with the joint up. So basically, in this case, the joints for the butts are up and the joints for the shafts are up, and all of them have joint protectors on them, as you can see right there. Okay, now you can take this, and I'm gonna unload it and load it here in just a second, but you can take this and you can switch some of your shafts around if you want to, and you can put the shafts in the other direction. But you can't do all of them that way, because that would mean you'd have all of the thickest ends in the same amount of space, and that would be too much. So you can do some alternation, and you just have to feel it and see which way is best for you. But you can't do them all alternate. So here I've taken 2 shafts, for example, and I've put them tips up. So you can do that if you want to. You can take, you can basically see what's going to fit by looking at it this way, because it's at the bottom you've actually got a little bit more room. So if it fits at the top, it's going to fit at the bottom. But for example, you could take a cue and you could put one of your cues this way, and you'll just feel how comfortable that is, or not, you know. So here's one where the bumper is up and the tip is up beside it, and so on. So you can see it fits comfortably this way, so it's going to fit comfortably at the bottom as well. So, all right. So the way that I like to do this is very simply. I like to load the butts first, and the shafts last, and then I like to take the shafts out first, and then the butts. So for example, if I wanted to take this one out, I'd pull the shaft out, then it loosens it up a little bit here. So now I can just take the butt out, no problem. And if I want to put the butt back in, find the hole and just let it slide in like that. Now you can take your shaft and put it in, no problem. Now if you want to put it opposites, right, you might want to do this. You might want to take the shaft first in this case, because you're putting the thickest end in. Find the hole, right? Get it seated in the hole right there, and then just simply push it down, and there you go. And then the butt, the opposite direction, same thing. Just let it fall down in there, and there you go. And then everything will be nice and snug, but not too hard to get out. And same thing. So now let's go ahead and load this. I'm going to unload it. I'm going to unload everything here. And what I'll do is I'll just kind of put these over here. Here, I'll tell you what, we'll do it the easy way. So I've taken the shaft out. So I'll take a butt out here. So this is also, by the way, this is a poison cue with a rubber grip. It's got a rubbery grip on it. So what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to go ahead and load it first, since it's got the stickiest grip on it. I'm going to load it first. Now you'll notice on some of these cases that the back 2 cavities are a little bit larger than the other cavities. Now in this case I had it in the front cavity, but I'll go ahead and put this in the back cavity right there. So you find the hole. So as I did, so I just look inside, see the hole, put it in, and then just drop it in like that. Okay, now let's take another butt here. Same thing. Just drop it in. There you go. And we'll take another one out here. Same thing. Now you see me wiggle it a little bit. I kind of find the hole and I kind of wiggle it in a little bit. You don't always have to do that, but sometimes it's easier just to kind of get it started in the hole. So once you get it in the hole right there, just push down, just let it gently slide in. There you go, with joint protectors. And then the last cue here, simply let it slide in like that. Now, shafts, as I said, you have 4 holes on the side. So I like to start out with the hole closest. I like to start out with the hole that's closest to the cues. So here you can see right here how that is. Now the hole closest to the cue on this is going to be right here. Let's see if I can hold this up here, show you guys. Here we go. Okay, so the hole closest to the cues is going to be here and here on each side. So what I like to do is, I like to take this, I can't do it like this, I like to take it and go like this. So, you guys see that? Take it, put the shaft in, and just kind of let it sit next to it. See what I did? And there you go, right there. So the next shaft will go in on this side closest to the cue. See what we did? Okay, now you've got 2 more shaft holes here. So take that one and put it next to that shaft. And there you go. Now you'll notice here, you see it looks like it's getting a little tight. You can pull this over. It's very flexible. So you can pull this, use your thumbs and pull them out and get a little bit of extra room there. And eventually, these are brand new cases. So after a while, these holes will sit naturally in there. But you see how I got it started? Now watch what happens. Okay, I'll push it down. And as you push it down, the foam rubber makes the shaft move out of the way. So now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 right there. And you'll notice on this side, it looks all squishy here. So I'll move this up so you guys can see it a little bit better. See there, it looks a little squishy. But this is the magic of foam rubber in here. The foam rubber adapts to your cues. So again, start on this side, push down, right? We'll put another shaft in. And you don't have to go the way I'm going. You can just go right here if you want. The next shaft, say you want these 2 shafts together. Right there like that. Now you've got 2 holes left right here. So now we'll take this shaft. Here, this one I'll just go this way with it. See, as I push it down. If you can see down in here, you'd see a tiny little gap right here in between these shafts. You'd see that there's nothing is touching whatsoever in there. So it's not even close. Now we've got 1 hole left and you can barely see it right there. So I'm going to spread that out like that a little bit. See? It's right there. Now I'll take my last shaft and put it in. Okay, see me get it started? Kind of wiggle, right? Now watch. Everything moves over. Now I've got 4 shafts on this side, 4 shafts on this side, and 8 butts. And that's how you load the case. Now when you want to unload it, so from this position, here's the deal. Because there's foam rubber in here, you see the foam rubber that's keeping everything apart and it keeps everything snug? Because there's foam rubber in here, it means that that's what keeps everything snug and keeps it inside the case so it doesn't move, doesn't bounce around when you're driving down the road and everything. That's the protection part of the case. So, but with everything there's kind of a yin and a yang, right? So in order for us to be efficient and keep the case relatively small, here's the yang side of the yin. The yin is the protection. The yang side is a little bit of a learning curve, small, very small learning curve to learn how to use the case effectively. So one thing is if you take and you start to pull the cue out through the shafts, for example, so look here, watch what happens. You'll notice that it makes everything bigger as the thickest part comes out. Okay, so it kind of goes out and then it wants to snap back in as soon as that tension is released. So some people don't like that. They don't like the way that feels. So what I do is I say, just simply take out a shaft and relieve the tension. So for example here, you would just simply reach in, pull up on a shaft. Now you'll notice what I did is I put my thumb right next to the wall and I kind of push in and up. See that? And as I said, as these cases are brand new, so they're going to be a little bit tighter, but as you use them, they'll get easier. But the cues will stay nice and snug. But anyway, you release the tension with a shaft, so pull a shaft out. Now it becomes easier to pull the butt out. And when I say easier, I mean it's really not a big deal either way. It just sometimes you don't want to feel the tension, or you don't want to hear the cues click against each other as you pull it out. When the foam rubber is releasing the tension as you pull the fattest part of the cue through the thickest part of the foam rubber. But again, another thing you can do here, as you can see, is you can put the shafts in also upside down. So you can, I prefer my shaft sometimes tips up so I can see the tips that I want to use. Here you go, sorry about that. So you can see the tips that you want to use, and then when you do that, you also have the tension already released because the thickest parts are not together as it comes through. So there you go. That's how you load the 4x8, and I hope that this tutorial has been instructive for you, and you can just play with it either direction, whichever way feels most comfortable for you. And again, thank you guys very much for choosing JB Cases. If you have any suggestions for us, we are a custom case maker, so we have in the past modified interiors for people to be how they want it to be. One of my colleagues, for example, he got a 3x6 case, but he had us make it as a 2x5, so he had more padding and more room in between the cues. We've done the same thing as a 2x4. I've gone the other direction and I've reduced the padding in the cases to accommodate even more cues for people who want to carry more than our normal capacity allows for. So we can go either direction. We can modify it. We can make cavities bigger or smaller and adjust it as you need it. So if you can tell us what you want to do, we'll be happy to do it. We'll be happy to try it, and we can generally figure it out. So the way that I've got it right now, I feel is pretty good. It may not be the optimal way to do it. It may not be the best way to do it. But it's the way that I feel is best at the moment, and it's the way that works really well and allows a lot of flexibility. So thank you guys again very much, and take care. Bye-bye.